In this video, I'm going to be building an impenetrable Lego fortress and filling it with all kinds of deadly traps, so the knights who live there can defend themselves from their enemies, the archers. So as usual, I started with an empty base plate, and the whole reason I'm building this fortress in the first place is so these poor homeless knights will have somewhere to live and be safe from those sneaky archers. And just like last time, I got my assistant Rob to help me. So we started with the base of the build, and I wanted the fortress to sit on top of a hill, similar to Hogwarts and a lot of real life castles. So the base is made up of these big ugly rock pieces to prevent attackers from climbing up the steep faces. At the front here is a large staircase up to the door, which is inspired by the town hall in Clash of Clans. And inside the rocks is a dark dungeon where prisoners can be locked up. So the first trap I installed is this trap door right behind the gate, so if anyone undesirable walks in, they can be banished to the dungeon. G'day, how would you like to save hundreds of dollars on your energy bill? And the activator to drop the trapdoor is cleverly disguised as an unassuming tree. And remember, this was just the first trap of many. So I filled the dungeon with some bars and some jail doors to hold the prisoners from the trapdoor, as well as a skeleton and this sinister looking device. And then I put a floor on top of the dungeon and added some support beams and a staircase, but I left the back open for accessibility. And it was now time to move on to the main floor of the fortress. So I started by adding a huge gate at the front that can be lifted to allow allies through, and can also be suddenly dropped on any enemies who happen to be standing here. I continued building up the front of the fortress, trying to make it look as best I could, and then I capped off the top of this in a castle looking style. And did I mention that the look of this fortress is based on many old Lego castle sets, as well as newer ones like the Lion Knight's castle from 2022. On the back of the main gate, I added the second trap, which could be activated with this little gear and drops cylinders onto uninvited guests' heads. Now it was time to add the interior details, so I started with the all-important toilet. I also made a little sink and then put up a wall here for some privacy. Near the centre of the fortress, I made this very long table where all 6 of the knights can sit around and eat KFC. And if you're enjoying the video so far, please consider leaving a like or a comment. Thanks. I also made a little bedroom to the right, which doesn't have nearly enough beds for 6 knights, so I guess I'll have to share. I also put up some walls around the bedroom, and then I put some gold safety railing around the entrance to the dungeon, because safety first. There is also no roof on top of the fortress, so too bad if it rains, I guess. I also added a ladder here, so the knights can realistically get up to the top, and then I added the final defense, which is this device similar to the cylinder dropping one, except this one reaches over the front of the fortress and drops a heavy circular boulder on any undesirables trying to get in. Which means that if you wanted to break into the fortress at this point, you would now have to get through the boulder dropper, the heavy gate, the trapdoor, and avoid getting bonked on the head by the little cylinders. So I would say the fortress is, well, fortified. And now that Rob and I had finished the build, we were pretty happy with it. I have to admit, the sides and the back of the build aren't the prettiest, though I'm really proud of the front of it. I really like the turret bit up the top, and I also really like the gate, although my favourite part of the whole build has to be the trapdoor feature, which you can't even notice with the tree there. And the cylinder dropping trap would probably have to be my second favourite part of the build. Also, if you watched my video 2 weeks ago, you may notice that the pieces here are the same ones I used in that. And now that the build was completed, it was time to place the knights all around it. With the knights all in the defense position, it was time to battle. Who would win this fight? 4 archers or 6 knights in a fortress full of traps? We'll just have to see how it plays out. The archers approached the fortress and got ready to attack. And the whole reason the archers were attacking the fortress in the first place was so they could take food from the rich knights and give it to the poor in need. The battle began as the archers got in a line and fired at the knights, wounding the one manning the boulder at the gate. They ran up to the staircase and started prying at the gate to get it open, whilst 2 of the knights climbed up the top, one to help the wounded one and one to drop the boulder on the archers. Which she managed to do, and knocked out one of the archers. After heaving and pushing, the archers were able to pry the gates open, and they valiantly rushed in. Which is when the knights opened the trap door, succeeding in trapping one of the archers, whilst the other two narrowly and skillfully avoided falling. The knights then activated the falling cylinders, which knocked out another archer, leaving just one, the falconer. She and the frightening knight began to battle inside the fortress. She was shooting arrows at him, which he blocked with his shield, and eventually the frightening knight bested her, bringing an end to the archer's ambush. The knights all recovered from their injuries and celebrated by eating KFC again, and the moral of the story is stealing is wrong. And that sums it up for the build and the battle. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out in the end, especially the front. Well, mostly the front. I think the whole gate area looks really good. I'm also very happy with the staircase leading up to the gate. The pieces for this build were sourced from 5 Ninjago sets: the Temple of Resurrection, the Castle of the Forsaken Emperor, the Temple of the Dragon Energy Cores, the Battle for Ninjago City, and the Ninja Dojo Temple, as well as one Minecraft set, the Red Barn. And the minifigures featured in this set were sourced mostly from Minifigure series. The Frightening Knight from Minifigure Series 15, the Electric Knight from Minifigure Series 19, the Viking looking one from Minifigure Series 20, the Jousting Knight from Minifigure Series 20 as well, the little girl dressed up as a knight is from Minifigure Series 23, the female knight is from the Medieval Blacksmith, a great set, the Falconer is from Minifigure Series 24, Robin Hood is from the Disney 100 series, and the Archer, which there are 2 of here, are from Minifigure Series 16. Honestly, it seems like there are so many knights and bow-wielding types in LEGO minifigure series. And not just that theme as well, there's also plenty of other LEGO castle sets like this. In fact, I wish LEGO would do a lot more castle sets actually. Anyway, I'm getting completely off track. This has been a very fun video to make. I've enjoyed designing the castle and all the little traps and details that go in it. So thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider leaving a like or a comment, or clicking on one of the other videos on my channel. That's been all for today, folks. Have a great day and see you next week.